Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Healing. In case you have not noticed, I have been kind of MIA for the last month or so. I might talk about that in a second. First, I just kind of want to cover some of what is going to be taking place this week astrologically. I've heard here and there some of you don't really like my commentary before the reading, but oh well. That's all I'm going to say. So this week's reading is for May 13th through the 19th, and I am reading notes because I do want to keep this concise. And there is something taking place that I think is really important for people to be aware of, and that is the Uranus is entering Taurus. And this is something that does not happen all the time. This is not a planet that changes signs on a regular basis. The last time that this planet changed signs, it went into Aries on March 11th, 2011. And so typically it brings about some pretty big changes. So on March 11th, 2011, that is when the Fukushima plant in Japan, all of this stuff happened with that. And I mean, that was an absolute disaster. I mean, you had the nuclear plant meltdown, you had the earthquake, you had the tsunami. I mean, that was just an absolute disaster. And I don't tell you that to scare you. I just tell you that so that you are prepared to expect the unexpected with this transit. I know I've been feeling the shift of this for weeks already. Some of you may have already been feeling some of this, but the last month or so has just been, I think, rocky astrologically anyways. But some of this, I think people are feeling this transit coming up. So this is taking place on May 15th. The new moon in Taurus is also taking place on May 15th. So what's really interesting is you have the new moon. A new moon equals new beginnings. And then you have Uranus changing signs, which equals major new beginnings. So something is going to be shifting with this transit. And unless you are in your mid-80s or older, you've never experienced Uranus and Taurus before. It takes 84 years for Uranus to go around the zodiac. So when it goes and when it changes signs, it brings about very big changes. So in the long run, though, this transit, it brings about positive changes. But things can shift so much that we might not feel that initially. But don't worry. Everything is going to end up very positive and new beginnings. The positive changes might be things that initially shake us up, but what it's going to do is it's going to bring us freedom, to be able to live authentically and live purposely, live the way that we are meant to be living. So that's the big thing that's happening this week. And so I decided that the reading that I would do this week is based on what is going to be shifting. And I have to say, I was really surprised at how this reading turned out. So I'll share that with you as we get started. And this reading, if it's something that you are interested in, send me an email and I will invoice you if you want your own personal reading with this particular spread. I will be offering this spread for a limited time, maybe a week or two, for $66, which for the amount of cards that I pull and the information that is going to come out for an individual reading, $66 is an amazing deal. So the information will be in the description box below if that's something that you're interested in. So I'm going to be reading the current energy for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. What shifts will they potentially be experiencing? And then, you know, any advice for moving through the shifts. And then also, you know, reading the current union energy and then the near future union energy. Let's see. In addition to that, I am going to be offering the 6 month ahead readings again that are going to be for July 2018 through December 2018. I'm letting people know about them now because I'm doing pre-order specials again. So if you get your order in within the next about 2 weeks, if you get it in by June 1st, you will get special pricing for $77. After that, it's going to go up to $88. And I'll have information on that one in the description box as well. And that's a really amazing value. You know, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm totally going to. In this reading, so, you know, we go through each month. And for each month, I pull romance angel cards, tarot cards, and it's however many I'm guided to pull. So, you know, some months it's 4, some months it's 6. It just depends. And then I also pull surrender cards. So it's really nice to see what comes out every month, because you might get the same surrender cards coming out every month, so there might be a theme for you to work on, or you might be getting the same tarot cards coming out, you know, multiple months. The feedback on these has been phenomenal, and so $77 for pre-order is I kind of can't believe that I'm doing them for this price, but that's what I feel guided to do, so I'm going to stick with it. The last thing that I'm just gonna mention really quickly, and then I'm gonna get into the reading, is moving forward. I am not sure what format I'm going to continue doing the weekly readings, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue doing, you know, the sides with the feminine energy and the divine masculine. If I'm gonna do something different. I'm feeling led to work primarily with divine feminine and divine feminine energies. And I'm not going to get into all the whys behind it or anything, but it's been something that's been brewing for a long time. And, you know, I took the last month off because I needed to spend time practicing what I preach and taking care of myself and doing what I needed to do for myself. And that meant, you know, kind of putting the videos and the weekly readings and things like that on the back burner. And I'm really glad that I did that. I'm not sure, I'm struggling with what else I want to say. Moving forward, things are going to be changing. I haven't completely figured out yet what and where I'm going to be making the changes, but one of the things that I have realized for sure is that in a lot of areas of my life, I have kind of taken crap from people when I shouldn't have allowed it. And I've noticed that I have a very small amount of fire element in my natal chart. And I kind of wonder, you know, if I tend to be less feisty because of that, and I don't address some things that I should address with people. And basically where I'm going with this is that one of the changes that you might see from me is expect me to be a little saltier when necessary. Not so much with my clients. You know, I'm a trained counselor. I'm incredibly empathic and compassionate by nature. But I'm definitely at a point where I'm going to be a little firmer with the way I handle certain situations. And I don't think I need to go into much more detail than that. Just know that rude comments on videos won't be accepted. They won't be ignored. I won't be getting into it with anybody either, but you know, there's a lot of things that I'm going to be more protective of around myself. And I hope the people who are my followers and my clients and those who are fans of the content that I put out, I hope you understand. I think that you will if you continue to watch my videos. I think that there's a reason. I think that what I say and what I do resonates with you. And I think if you do have a problem with the direction I go in and the things that I say and do, I'm not the reader for you. I'm not the person for you. And so no hard feelings, you know. We can part ways and it's totally fine. So with that said, I'm going to hop into the reading. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see the cards a little bit better because it's kind of a big spread. I'm going to blow this one candle out because it is leaking all over the place and I don't want to deal with that. So, okay. So I might move some of these cards down as we get a little further along in the reading, and I am going to try to do this a little quickly so that this doesn't drag on forever, but sometimes the channeled messages come through and it is what it is. But I want you to be able to see these as much as you can, because I think that helps to see where the cards are and stuff. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to start with the feminine energy. And so the current energy, where the feminine is at, I feel like a lot of the feminine energies are ready to, they're ready for new beginnings. They are ready to continue moving forward. They're ready for the wheel to turn for the next phase in their lives. I feel like many of you are feeling stuck in whatever the situation is that you're in, and you just want some movement. And, and that's what flow is. This is the wheel. This is, the wheel is always turning. The wheel is always moving. And so, this is definitely an indication that I feel like even though the feminine, you feel stuck, that the wheel, the turning, the time of positive change, it's like you know it's coming. And we have choose your battles. With this card, I feel like what I'm getting here is you are so done. You're so sick of watching what you say and watching what conflict that you get into, and I feel like you're walking on eggshells, or you feel like you're walking on eggshells, because you don't want to. I feel like you're worried about saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing or making the wrong move. Like I'm getting this feeling of one wrong move and it's over, it's done, that person's going to be out of your life, and you're really very tired of that. And then the last card for the feminine's energy is nurture. And really the immediate feeling I got with this card, the words that popped into my head when I pulled it out, was divine feminine rising. And I feel like this is kind of like a culmination of these two cards and where you're at, that you're like, I am ready to rise up and to claim my divinity, claim my sovereignty, claim myself as the divine goddess that I am, and really nurture my feminine being, and who I'm meant to be, and nurture my spirit, nurture my body, nurture my mind. Like, it's just like a really intense feeling of not worrying about anybody but yourself, and just like really diving in and putting yourself first. The card that the cards that come up for the masculine, the one thing I hate about having nails is I can never pick my cards up. So the divine card, or the cards that come up for the divine masculine. Now, the one thing that I noticed right away, the two cards, we have a 3 and a 2, which come together as a 5. So 5 is a number of changes. And I do feel like the divine masculine is also on, this, edge of things are going to be changing. They have sadness and isolation. And, a lot of times when I get this card, I read it as a card of, surrendering. And I'm not really, I get that a little bit, but really, I get this card exactly what what it is just sadness and isolation. And I do feel like they are kind of in this place of withdrawing and being in solitude, not so much because they're working on themselves, but more out of sadness over something. And before we get into the cards at the bottom, the first thing that I thought is, I think they feel like they either messed something up or they're missing something. And they need time by themselves to kind of cope with that. So, for those of you who are in contact with your divine masculine, there's definite, if they're kind of sticking to themselves, being quiet, there's definitely something going on with them that they're very sad about, and they're needing time to isolate so that they can deal with those feelings. The other card is find balance, and that's part of the other reason why that they're kind of spending time by themselves and isolating themselves from people, is because they're really struggling to find balance in their lives. First of all, it's they're overwhelmed by the emotions that they're feeling, but then, with this card, you know, it shows just a fraction really of the things that people have going on in their lives. But if you look, you know, for many, you know, they've got school or education, meals, or, you know, whatever this kind of signifies to you. For some, this could be addiction issues, drinking, whatever. This is time, you know, trying to figure out time management. This could also be work instead of school. You know, some people might have school and work. You have a flower, so whatever the flower indicates for you, because then you also have a ring, so the ring could be, you know, a significant other, marriage, commitment, you know, so they've got like everything covered. You've got the baby here, which is, you know, family obligations, children, you know, and I get a very, very strong feeling that they don't feel balance in any of these places, and it's something that they're really, I think, feeling like they need to isolate themselves from everything until they can figure this balance thing out. So the energies for the union, the current energies for the union, we have share the love, which, you know, I feel like this card comes up a lot. I don't think that there's any question about whether or not there is love in this relationship, this connection, this scenario, whatever you want to call it. There's love there. It's just, you know, and I think that you both, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, want to be in a place where you can share that love, but can you? And for many of you, the ones reading or watching this reading, and again, you know, this might be a reading that resonates with you. It might not. You know, this is a general reading, so, you know, it's not going to resonate for everybody. A little piece might just kind of be for you. It's just not working right now. It's just not, you're just not able to come together and share the love in a way that's working. You've got one who's just fed up. You've got one who's sad, can't find balance. It's just not looking the way either wants it to look. And the other card is change your focus. And so as much as you want to share your love with each other, I think both parties know that you need to focus on other things. That this is just not, you're not meant to focus on each other at this time. I feel though, like, for those of you who are in this spot, I feel like not everybody's able to look at it that way. I feel like a lot of you might be looking at it like this is done forever, we're never going to talk again, you know, like putting like a finality upon it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. You know, you can frame it however you want. You know, my suggestion is just looking at it that it's not working right now. You know, it's not working right now, and so change your focus right now to what's in front of you. So for the feminine, what is shifting for the feminine? And the first card that came out was Ego. And I thought that was, I was like really pleasantly surprised to see this card come out. This card is, you know, it's about a false sense of entrapment. It's about negative and fear-based thoughts. How many of you have been feeling like you're trapped in a situation? How many of you have been lacking confidence to do what you need to do to move forward? How many of you have been, stuck in negative self-talk, or, stuck in a cycle of fear-based thinking? That is shifting. That is going to be shifting for you. Something is going to take place where that is going to, somehow come to an end, which is going to help tremendously with that wheel turning and moving forward and new beginnings for you. And I pulled a clarifying card, and I pulled the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, this is all about, stretching your wings and asserting your independence and going after the things that you want. And, it's about being assertive. And I feel like this card pairs so perfectly with shifting out of those negative and fear-based thoughts, shifting out of those thoughts of feeling like you're trapped, because you're not. And so that was just like, I thought that this was a really awesome shift for the Divine Feminine. The next card that I pulled was the World. And with the World, I feel like what's going to be shifting for the feminine is their outlook on how do I put this? I feel like you're going to be shifting your outlook on your goals and the things that you want for yourself. And the things that you associate with bringing you joy and contentment and gratitude, the focus is going to change. Things are going to somehow change for you. Your shift is the shift that you go through, it's going to affect this completion card. I feel like it's almost going to affect like how, and I'm just going to throw this out as an example. And maybe this is, a specific message for some of you. Maybe it's not, but, say you are somebody who feels like you are never going to be fully happy until you are in a physical union with your twin flame. And that's your World card. That's your job well done, and that's your completion card. That is going to shift for you. Your mindset is going to shift from not being able to experience joy and contentment and gratitude until you are in a physical union with your twin flame, to being able to experience joy and contentment and gratitude where you are right now with whatever it is that's right in front of you. I hope that makes sense. But there's going to be a shift in your perspective. And don't feel like bummed about that. This shift in perspective is going to bring you so much peace. Like so much peace. I can't even tell you. Like the feeling that I have right now of the change in emotion, that just the change that's gonna bring, it's overwhelming how much better you're gonna feel. The clarifying cards I pulled here, we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, this is, I feel like, you know, you're going to be moving into that place where you're living from your heart center. You're very tender-hearted, and you're incredibly intuitive and using your intuition. And with that, you have the Judgment card. And this is a card of reevaluating things. And, you know, and I feel like, you know, just kind of tying it into the example that I used, because I feel like that will make the most sense. If you're, like, I feel like taking that goal of, I will be happy and joyful and content when I am in physical union with my twin flame. This is you reevaluating that goal from a place where you are open-hearted and using your gifts of intuition and knowing, you know, inner knowing, and shifting that, which is kind of amazing. At least that's what I think. It's amazing. I don't know. You guys might not think that's amazing. You might not be there yet where you think it's amazing, but I think it's amazing. Huge shifts for the feminine. Huge shifts. So for the masculine, the first card that comes up, and I'm going to read, well, so 4 cards came out for the Divine Masculine. The first card that came out was the 5 of Air, which to me is coming across as, you know, so again, this is, you know, what is shifting for the masculine. I feel like they are shifting a mindset, or they're having a revelation. There's something that happened, you know, they chose something, they did something, and they are rethinking that choice. They're having they're having an internal conflict about that. You know, they're beating themselves up over it. They are second guessing it. They feel like maybe they should have done something different. You know, they're definitely, they're in their heads. And I feel like whatever this is, you know, we have the 7 of Fire. It's going to, I feel like they're going to take an action, or it's going to bring about some sort of action that's going to change them. You know, and they are going to be choosing something that they fight for. They're, you know, and I feel like this is going to be, it's going to be a change for them. It might not be a change from the inside. This might be something that inside them has always been there, but outwardly, this may be something that's different. And the next 2 cards that came out were the Queen of Fire and the King of Water. And I feel like this is what the Divine Masculine is shifting into. You know, they're shifting into this Queen of Fire who no longer underestimates themselves. They are able to assert their independence. They're able to go after the things that they desire. And then they're this King of Water. You know, the trustworthy, compassionate, respected, open-hearted individual. You know, this very loving, kind person that can be trusted. And I feel like these are, like, what I'm getting is there's action happening here. And I feel like whatever this situation was with this 5 of Air, there was a lot of talk and no action. And there's this realization that action has to happen, and they need to show something different in order to fix whatever the Five of Air is, if it's fixable. Because the shift that I'm seeing for the masculine is an internal shift, realizing that they maybe did something that they shouldn't have, or made a mistake somewhere, and changing something to fix that mistake. I pulled clarifying cards on the Five of Air and the Seven of Fire. And the clarifying cards that I pulled for the Five of Air, I got the Nine of Wands, and I got the Ten of Wands, and then I got the Queen of Swords. And what I'm getting with these is that whatever happened with this Five of Air, I want to say that whenever it happened, or however it happened, the Divine Masculine had his walls up, was very defensive and untrusting, had his guard up, and wouldn't let anybody in, and almost kind of, I want to say, like, push somebody away, and that may have been part of the mistake or thing that he's regretting. And now he's carrying a very heavy burden. He's very stressed out about it. He's very worried about it. And then we have the Queen of Swords. The worry he has is that he's going to be cut off. That this person is, okay, you pushed me away, I'm gone. The person that is embodying the Queen of Swords energy, it's like I get this feeling like that there's a worry that he pushed them too far. And so where I'm getting, though, that there's action and some change with the Seven of Wands, the clarifying card I pulled is the Death card. And so there's transition, there's change, there's rebirth. I feel like there is this renewal of, trying to transition into something different and transform into, the choice or whatever it was that maybe he should have done in the first place, or what he wishes he had done. But it's like he knows, there needs to be a rebirth or a transformation. And then we have the Six of Cups. So this is a relationship from the past, possibly, a soulmate, or, some sort of very strong connection, someone he was connected to before. So, I feel like whatever this Five of Air situation, it has to do with somebody, probably a soulmate, maybe a twin flame, but, at the very minimum, a soulmate. And I think that he's got to kind of put his money where his mouth is and show in action how he has shifted out of this Five of Air situation, whatever that was. Sorry, that was a really long explanation, but I feel like there's a lot of people who could benefit from this scenario. So for the feminine, any advice or help to move through this shift? And I love the cards that came out for the Divine Feminine. We have Master Buddha, increased awareness. And the message with this card is trust your inner voice, trust the connection that you have. Don't don't be afraid to go with your intuition. You know, don't let those negative or fear-based thoughts overthrow you. Trust your intuition, trust your inner voice. And then the surrender card that came up was so perfect. Surrender fear. And the message is, let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. I love the message on this card because I think it's so pertinent to what the divine feminine needs to know and what they need to focus on. Focus on the moment. Stay in the moment. Don't explore the past anymore, and don't keep jumping into the future. Don't jump into a future with a person that you might not even be speaking to, because that's where all of our stress and our fear and our anxieties start getting out of control. Stay in the current moment and focus on what is right in front of you. And that is going to be the first step to, I think, all of your dreams coming true, honestly. So for the Divine Masculine, and again, like, I freaking love these cards that came out. So, you know, advice for moving through this shift, we have Lord Shiva with Transcendence, and then we have Serapis Bey with Ascension. And basically these cards say the exact same thing. And it's all about rising up, rising above the darkness, honor your inner force, move into your true self. The light is here, the steps are being given. Like, it's all about trusting yourself and stepping up. And that's what they need to do. And like this scenario, they need to trust themselves that whatever they're feeling about this 5 of air situation, trust what is coming to them on that. Don't second guess it. And take the actions that they're led to take. Because that is how they move into, that's going to be how they move into their true self. That's how they're going to rise up. That's how they're going to honor their inner force. And then the surrender card is surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. So this card again is talking about action, and I feel like for those people that this reading is going to pertain to, the action here, it's going to happen. It is absolutely going to happen. I'm going to move these cards over so that you can see the next ones better, I hope. Okay, so here were the cards, the share the love and the change your focus. So here are the cards for the near future of the union. I'm not gonna lie, I was super shocked. I did not expect these to come out at all. But I'm super excited for the people that this pertains to. And I'm going to say right off the bat, like I always do, I don't think this means physical union for everybody. You know, so be realistic. Be realistic. But I do think that good things are coming for people. So the first card that came out is balance. So the shifts that you're going to be going through, I definitely think is going to bring you into a much more balanced state. Much more balanced place of communication. And we have the love card. This is the lover's card in this deck. And what I love about this card is look at how balanced this card is. You know, like nobody is, like it's like equal pull on each side, and you know, it's just love is growing and nourished. I love this card. And so, you know, this is going to be something where love will be able to flourish and grow, and it'll be equal, it'll be balanced. And then the last card we have is open up. And I feel like this is, you know, each, you know, partner opening up much more with the other one than they have been. And I think some of that is going to be because they're open up more to spirit and to themselves and to their own intuition and inner knowing than they were before. And so I did clarify these cards because I wanted to see what was going on. We got the Knight of Cups. Like, can't make it up. You know, there will be an offer. Someone is going to offer their cup. You know, and this is also a card of balance, you know, making sure that you're keeping, you know, your emotions balanced. And I think that is not going to be an issue. We do have the Moon, and I think that you know, is connected with the open up card. I feel like this card is more about like not letting your fears get the best of you, and not falling into old patterns, not making assumptions about things that might be going on behind the scenes, you know. So don't, you know, like, it's almost like I feel like a warning in a way, like don't screw it up by going back to old habits and letting fear-based thoughts creep in. You know, like this is I feel like a warning that, you know, fear-based thoughts could potentially, you know, be creeping in. But I think that's normal. I think that, you know, we're humans, and that's a normal thing to have happen. You know, just stay open with each other to combat that. And then the last card we have is Temperance, which is balance. You know, the two cups, we have the two cups, and they're pouring into each other. You know, and honestly, having temperance and balance in this with love and the Knight of Cups is really, to me, very promising, because more than anything, I think that we are all striving for balance and equality in these partnerships more than anything else. You know, the fairy tale, I think, looks nice and sounds nice, but when we're actually living it, I think we want it to be balanced and something that's a little bit more sustainable and realistic. You know, we want a partnership. So I love seeing this. So for those of you that this resonates with, I'm super, super excited for you. So that's all I've got for you guys. It's so nice to be back. For those of you who watch, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate it and appreciate all your comments and, you know, all of your inquiries. Like I mentioned in the beginning, if you are interested in this reading, send me an email and I will invoice you. It will be $66. And I will have the pre-order information for the 6-month ahead readings as well. And that's, I think, about it. If you like this reading, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm looking to be updating my content and doing more than just the weekly. I haven't wrapped my head around everything yet, but there's a lot of stuff in the works. So I look forward to having you guys all with me on the journey. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. For the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.